certain denominators. I saw this a lot yesterday. So eyes up here, and if I write it, you write it. Sound good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want to do 1/3 plus, 1/2 plus 8/12.
We put this on a scrap piece of paper.
Well, you can do it on the very bottom of the packet I gave you, the back side, okay? But leave room to do a couple problems back there. All right, so I'm not going to choose 24 because I'm going to work smarter, not harder. So there's a little trick you can do where you don't even have to do your T-chart and your skip counting like I showed you yesterday. So I'm getting ready to show you that trick, okay? Okay, so if I look at these two denominators and the small one divides evenly into the large one, I'm just automatically going to pick the large one, okay? There's no skip counting required to figure this out. Does 2 go into 12?
Yes.
Yeah, how many times?
6.
Okay, so we're going to pick 12. And I saw a ton of those on IXL yesterday when I was helping kids. So I just thought I'd go over it real quick at the beginning, okay? So now that I'm using 8/12 and I'm not changing it, eyes up here real quick, I can literally just write it down. Because what would I multiply it by? 1. And that's kind of a waste, isn't it? If you want to write 1, go right ahead, okay? But so this is going to be 8/12. 2 times what equals 12?
6.
So this will be 6/12. 6 plus 8 equals 14/12.
We would have to break it up.
It would be 1 and 2 twelfths, which I can simplify.
1 and 1 6.
How'd you do that, Randy?
You simplified it?
You divided it by
6.
by 2.
Yeah.
Okay? So I wanted you to know there's an option of keeping the largest denominator if the small one will divide evenly into it. Okay? You don't have to do this T-chart we did yesterday and figure it out. Okay? All right, now, here's the second thing. We're getting ready to do application problem on the front of this, but I want you to stay on the back for right now, okay? And I want you to make a tape diagram, and we're going to take a walk down, whoops, that's a straight line. We're going to take a walk down memory lane to 2nd grade. Okay, so make yourself a tape diagram.
On our scratcher?
Yeah, or on the bottom. Wherever you have room, just make a tape diagram. Okay, now, I'm not positive this is 2nd, but I feel like when I taught 3rd, the kids could do this when they came in the door, okay? So on this tape diagram, divide it into 3 parts and make 20 your total at the top. Tucker, you should be writing. I don't know what you're doing, but now your name is on my recording. And then I want you to put a 5, a 7, and a question mark. And don't say anything to your neighbors, just do this, okay? Now the goal here is to figure out what the missing number is, all right? And so once you know what goes in place of the question mark, give me a thumbs up. Once you know 20 is your total, once you know what the question mark is, give me a thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to pull a stick. Got a lot of thumbs up, so you must know how to do this. Payson, don't tell me the answer yet. Tell me how you figured it out. What did you do first?
Well, I added 5 and 7 together.
What's that?
12.
Okay.
And then I was like, so I don't know. So if I add whatever to 12, it would equal 20.
So you could do 12 plus something equals 20. Or you could do 20 minus 12 equals, what is it? Was it 8?
That's what I did.
So the answer to what the question mark is 8. Tell me what Payson did first, add or subtract? Add. So when I read today's question, I want you to keep that in mind, okay? All right, so let's look at it. It says a farmer uses 3/4 of his field to plant corn, 1/6 of his field to plant beans, and the rest to plant wheat. What fraction of his field is used for wheat? So I want to start with a tape diagram like we just did. It doesn't have to be huge because you're going to need room to write a problem, okay? And how many different types of crops are we talking about here? 3, okay. So put it in the corner, corn, beans, and wheat. What's the total?
You add them.
One whole what?
One
Field. One whole field. So just put a 1 up there. We're going to change it to a fraction in a minute, so you can put an equal sign beside it. Okay? So the farmer uses 3/4 of his field to plant corn, 1/6 to plant beans, and the rest to plant wheat. What fraction of his field is used for wheat? Okay, so my first step here, what do you think it is? I'm going to post it here. Axel, what do you think my first step is? I'm going to add. So I'm going to add these 2 fractions. Now don't work ahead of me. 3/4 plus 1/6. Go ahead and get it set up with your 3 equal signs. And I want to talk about the common denominator because 24 is not the lowest number we can pick. And remember what I said yesterday about sometimes you just want to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, you
Okay?
can use the 6.
Okay, now let's look at it. 4 doesn't divide into 6, so I can't use a 6, but put the 4 and 6 on the T-chart. And don't shout it out once you figure it out. If you know it in your head, don't bother writing it on the T-chart. Those of you who remember from yesterday, so I don't want to pick 24 because there's a smaller one. Cassandra, did you figure it out? 12. So I'm going to circle 12 here. And I'm going to use 12 as my denominator. This way I won't have to simplify. Okay, so what do I have? 3/4 and 1/6. Okay, now this one we really have to ask ourselves some questions. 4 times what equals 12?
3.
3. 6 times what? So I've got 9 plus 2, 11.
So that would be.
Okay, now, if you were given a multiple choice question, they would have 11/12 as an answer choice for you because they like to trick 5th graders. Okay? Would you pick it?
No.
Why not, Sierra?
I'm thinking because that's not what it's used for.
That's not the amount of wheat, is it?
For all of it, for the corn.
And the beans. Okay? So how do I figure out the amount for wheat? Well, first of all, what's 1 whole? 12/12. Okay, write that down. Now we did 20, we subtracted from the 20 at the top on the other tape diagram. But it might be easier to just think about what do I need to add to get to 12? 1. So my answer is 1/12. Now here's what Catherine said. She said, I really think the farmer should have planted more wheat. And I said, well, why do you think that? Does it have to do with the price? So she said, yeah, I think they can get more money out of the wheat than they can out of the beans for sure, she said, because the bean prices are terrible. So, those of you who are farming families, do you agree with Catherine?
Yes.
And then Mrs. Lowry said it sure uses a lot of water to plant corn. So I don't know the answer to that, but ask when you go home today. Can you do that for me? And then we'll figure out what the farmers in Hugoton think is a smarter choice to plant. Sound good? Okay. I'm going to teach you how to do subtraction with fraction. All right, so let's look at the first problem. Now, you're going to have to probably write it on your scratch paper. So go ahead and write 1/2 minus 1/3, and then put your 3 equal signs. We're going to set it up the same. The only difference is I write subtraction instead of addition. That's it. Everything else is the same. So we'll find a common denominator by doing what? Try this first.
It'd be 6.
Okay, so multiply the denominators.
Well, that's the only difference.
That's the only difference. We're just going to subtract. That's it.
That's easy.
Okay, so help me out here, Lee Marie. What do I multiply by in the first set of parentheses? Right here. 2 times what equals 6? Okay. And the next one, Ivan, what do I multiply by here?
2.
Okay. So if you're Mrs. Lewis, first math class this morning, I wrote 5, 6 for my answer.
No.
No, what's wrong with that?
You added.
I accidentally added. So what's my answer?
1, 6.
So here's what I figured out. When it comes to subtracting fractions, it's a little easier because you don't have to, it's not going to go above 1 whole most of the time.
But sometimes
Okay.
it is. And
Well, maybe with mixed numbers. Okay? So let's look at the next one. Write this problem on your scratch paper. And if you run out of scratch paper, just get up and get more. It's not a big deal.
Okay, let's see.
Aren't you glad I don't have to stand here all the time?
Yes.
Because then Javen wouldn't be able to see. Okay, I'll get out of your way. So common denominator for 3 and 4, Emily, what do you think it is? You're right. And I don't know if you remember this. Yesterday I said, if these denominators are just one number away from each other, most likely you're just going to multiply them to get your common denominator, okay? All right. So 1/3, 1/4. Help me out. How about Ethan? Ethan,
Yes.
what do I multiply by here?
You would multiply by 4, and the other one you would multiply by 3.
Okay, stop. We'll let someone else answer now. What'd you get when you subtracted, Randy?
I got
1 what?
1.
1/12. Okay, so it's pretty simple. It's a lot like addition. We just subtract numerators here on this second row. Payson, what's your question? Yep. Okay. Problem. This says problem 2. Is it the same problem we just did?
No.
I must have made a mistake.
It's A and B.
Okay.
A and B.
So let's do this one. Write this one down. 1/2 minus 1/5.
Is it okay if we've been doing it in a scratch piece of paper?
That's what I wanted you to do.
Okay.
Because remember, I took out those boxes
Yeah.
a couple lessons ago, actually. Okay, so get this all set up. Common denominator for 2 and 5, Sierra.
10.
Okay. Caden, can you help me out with the multiplication?
2 times 5 and 1 times 5 and 5 times 2 and 1 times 2.
Awesome. Did I do it right?
Game, Miss Lewis?
What?
Are you going to the game?
Okay, it all started because we're playing at stake, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so write this problem down, please. It's a little different. It's not
I don't know that.
fractions. Well, I think Alexa was trying to help us.
Thank you, Alexa.
We don't need her help.
No, we're too good for Alexa.
Okay, common denominator for 3 and 4, class.
Wow.
Didn't we just do a problem like this?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to finish this one on your own and check it with mine?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. So let's take a look at the answer. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
I forgot where mine's in.
1/2 minus 2/7. I think we're almost done.
Excuse me. So how many dogs do you have in your house?
All right. Dominic, common denominator for 2 and 7. What's 2 times 7?
14.
Okay, Samantha.
She's right here.
Okay, Braylee, help me out with the multiplying.
2 times 7 and 2 times 2 and 7 times 2.
Good. So 7 minus 4 equals 3. What do you think of subtraction so far?
3.
Okay, is this the last problem? All right, let's do it. Kaden, what do you need? Well, just get more scratch paper if you need it. Okay,
I'll do it on the other side.
all right. So Tucker, what's the common denominator for 5 and 3?
15.
Good.
Yeah, that's it wrong.
And Helena, what should I multiply by?
3.
And?
5.
So I've got 12 minus 10. Javen, what's 12 minus 10? 12 minus 10? Mm-hmm.
2.
Okay. So my answer?
215.
Okay. All right. So tomorrow we'll do problem set with a partner and exit ticket for a grade. And I don't think you're going to have too much trouble, are you?
No.
All right. Good job today.
Yay.